So you're looking to get into property, but you don't have any money. I was there 5 years ago. Okay, so I know the position you're in and the understanding that property, you can make money in property, but the thought process that you can only make money in property if you have loads of money already, it's wrong. And I'm here to show you the steps that you need to follow so that you can bypass that ideology and you can start making money in property even if you haven't got any. So there's 5 stages I'm going to teach you today so you can get started in property with no money. So number 1. Learn sourcing. So property sourcing, quick overview, property sourcing, as simple as I can. Find a property, find an investor, make a match, and you get paid in doing so. With this, by the way, there is a hell of a lot of free content out there. We actually have a free community where we give some ideas of how to get started and showcase little things in what you can do. If you are serious and you have a little bit more than no money, so a few £1,000s, we do actually teach people to accelerate their journey. So you have one-to-one mentorship with me, and then you also have the community of people working together to grow their sourcing businesses, and you've got investors in there as well. However, learn property sourcing. Property sourcing is the stepping stone into property. Okay, so you learn all the different strategies. You learn how to work with investors, find investors, how to do joint ventures, how to raise funds, and then the property side, how to find properties, analyze properties, off market, on market, everything you need to know about building a sourcing business. That's where I first started. That was my stepping stone into property. So I started by just sourcing a few properties over time. And then once I learned how, I decided to take it even further and decided to build that, which puts me into my second point. We'll put arrows so you can follow it even though there's numbers. That is a B. Build connections. This is the beauty of property sourcing. When you're in the world, when you're sourcing properties, you're then able to meet people that open up doors, okay? Whether that's investors, mortgage brokers, finance brokers, solicitors, whomever that might be, you build connections, okay? And that puts you in new positions that are able or give you the opportunity to scale your property business. So remember, we're doing this to build a business. Property is the vehicle to success. Okay, so we're looking to build success, we're looking to build a business. That is what we're focusing on at the end of the day. The strategy is sourcing, and then through that we're building connections that open up more and more doors. So whilst we're learning and doing, whilst we're also building connections, we are then also looking build and scale. So when I say that, we're looking to make money, to put bluntly. But as I say, when we're sourcing properties, we're charging a fee for that. So if we're able to charge, and I charge £6,000, you should be aiming for very similar. When you're charging for a few £1,000s per deal, it adds up, it adds up, it adds up. If you're looking to do, let's say 5 deals, that's £30,000. If you're looking to save £30,000, ask yourself, how long would that take you in your current position? So if you were to sit there and you were to save and save and save and save, doing exactly what you're doing at the moment, how long would it take to save £30,000? That is a question I ask all the time. A lot of the time, it is a very long number. It's years, not months. Whereas being able to learn sourcing, build connections, and then building and scaling allows people to make that £30,000 within months, not years. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not easy, it doesn't happen overnight, but once you know how, once you know what to do, it's just a repeatable process that eventually you can scale and you can make the figures that we're talking. I'm gonna add in here a 3.5. I'm hoping you can see this, okay, which is raise funds. So, like I'm saying, when you're sourcing properties, when you're building connections, there'll be investors that you meet that will go, right, I see potential in you rather than property. I want to get involved, but what I'd rather do is I'd rather loan you the money, okay? And there's certain ways of doing it, certain ways of attracting the right investors, certain negotiations and how to actually set up a joint venture as well. But there's the opportunity where that can accelerate your journey. So if I go back to where I was 5 years ago, I was learning sourcing. Then I started learning and doing. Then I started building my connections. And then I started building and scaling. And through that, I found investors that wanted to work with me and believed in me. And I managed to raise money, which allowed me to buy property sooner, which takes me on to number 4. Buy, refurbish, refinance, and recycle. Again, quick overview. Buy, refurbish, refinance is when you buy a property, you then refurb the property to add value, and through the increase of equity, through the increase of value, you'll manage to refinance to pull some money out. The money you pull out, then the aim is to go towards the next one. So we're able to buy, refurbish, refinance, and recycle to build the portfolio. So the idea is we make an active income through sourcing, and then we invest what we make into BRRR projects to invest in our future self. Okay, and the reason we do that is 2 things. Income, so we get paid an income through the rent, and that grows and grows and grows. The more properties we have, the more that grows, and over time the rent increases also grow your, I'd say passive income, but it's not too passive. Okay, there's still little things that you need to do, so don't see it as passive income, but it's definitely an income that isn't active or earned. It's money coming in through your portfolio. One thing with that, by the way, is I outsource all the management of my portfolio, so it's as passive as it can get. And that comes in every single month. Then we've also got, which is a second part why we do this, is the capital growth. So every year, the capital growth on properties goes up a few percentage, which is on your overall amount of your GDV, so what the property's worth, and that goes up and up and up, which increases your equity. So the bigger the portfolio, so an example, if the property market goes up 5% over a year and you have a portfolio worth £1 million, you will make £50,000. You can't spend it, it's not in your pocket, but it's equity. So that will pay you tomorrow, not literally, but pay you in the future. If you've got a £2 million portfolio, that would be £100,000. Okay, again, that isn't spendable, but that is your wealth going up and up and up. Mine over the last 5 years, I've accumulated now a £5 million portfolio. So if there's a 5% increase in the market, my net worth would go up £250,000 from just having the portfolio rather than actually doing anything. And then I've got the income as well. But anyway, number 4, we want to grow, grow, grow. We want to, by the way, learn sourcing, do sourcing, build connections, which means we can build and scale. At this point, when we're raising funds, when we're scaling, when we're looking at new strategies, we're growing a business. Our aim is to be able to go full time into this. And that's what I managed to do. And I've scaled it from there. Okay. So this is a point which what I do with my students is I aim for the 12-month mark to be able to jump into that. So you can take this serious and either raise funds for joint ventures or look to scale your active income in sourcing, spend it on whatever you want. But the idea should be to invest it in the buy, refurbish, refinance and recycle model. And then the final point, which I'll move out the way, is compound interest. So that is the final one that we need to pay attention to. This will look after itself. It's that idea of the buy, refurbish, refinance. Once we have a few £1 million portfolio, which you might look at and go, it's going to take me forever to get to. It won't. And this is the beauty of sourcing. What you learn by doing sourcing opens up doors where you might have thought that's never going to happen. If you'd have spoken to me 5 years ago and you said, George, you'd be working full time, you'd have your own business, you'd have a £5 million portfolio that pays you X amount, you'd also have a sourcing business that's 6 figures a year, I would have called you a liar. I would never ever have believed you. But from getting into sourcing, from learning, from doing, from building my connections, finding new people to work with, investors, finance brokers and etc., building that, to then being able to build and scale, raise funds to invest in that, that's got me to where I am within the 5 years. Okay, and that all started with property sourcing. So that is the model of if you want to get into property and you want to be making really good money in property, we start with learning property sourcing and then we accelerate through the journey. Just a final note, this doesn't happen overnight. So if you're looking at this going, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to understand BRRR and recycling and be buying 10 houses that will be worth over £1 million in the next 6 weeks. It doesn't happen like that, okay? It takes time to really develop and really grow. But if you look at that and go, George, I love what you've done in 5 years. I would love to start there to get to there. in 5 years, this is most certainly achievable. So if you like videos like this, if you like to learn a little bit more about property sourcing and then follow this journey, please like and subscribe. And if there's any more stuff that you want me to focus on, please comment and I'm sure I'll look it up for the next video.